In the heart of Vermont, where winters silence everything but the sound of wind scraping across frostbitten trees, there stands a house no one has lived in for over 50 years. Locals call it the Silent House, not because it's quiet, but because everything that enters it, sound, warmth, even life, never seems to return the same. The house sits at the end of a long, unpaved road that disappears into the woods. Most of the time, it's hidden under fog so thick it looks like the earth itself is trying to swallow it. No birds perch on its roof. No animals cross its yard. The windows are boarded, but sometimes, late at night, neighbors say they can see a faint flicker of light moving from room to room, like someone pacing endlessly through an empty home. No one knows exactly who built it. County records say it appeared sometime in 1893, purchased by a man named Silas Crane, a reclusive carpenter who came from nowhere and left even faster. People said he built the home for his wife, Margaret, who was sick with pneumonia. But she died before the house was finished. After her funeral, Silas locked himself inside, boarded the doors shut, and was never seen again. When the sheriff broke in months later, the rooms were empty, except for a single chair sitting in front of the fireplace, still rocking. The house changed hands several times after that. Families tried to live there, but none lasted more than a few months. The Merritt family moved in during the 1930s. Within weeks, the father started complaining of hearing footsteps upstairs every night around 3 in the morning. He'd climb the stairs to check, only to find the rooms freezing cold and empty. One night, their youngest daughter, Anna, told her mother that the quiet woman came to her window every night and asked if she could come inside. The next morning, Anna was gone. They searched the woods for 3 days before finding her sitting in the same rocking chair Silas had once used. Her skin pale, her lips blue, whispering to someone who wasn't there. She survived, but never spoke again. After that, the Silent House was abandoned for decades. But the silence never left. Hikers reported hearing muffled screams echoing from its direction. And when they approached, their compasses spun wildly, and their flashlights flickered out. Local kids dared each other to knock on the front door, but even a single knock would send an unnatural vibration through the wood, like the house itself was breathing. Then came Ellen Ward, a documentary filmmaker obsessed with forgotten places. In 2017, she decided to spend one night inside the house to prove the legends were nothing but local myths. She brought 3 cameras, a flashlight, and a small recorder. She never came out. Police found her car parked at the gate, engine still warm, her camera equipment scattered on the porch. The only thing left inside was her recorder. When they pressed play, they heard heavy static, a faint woman's voice, and Ellen whispering, "Who's upstairs?" A single knock followed. Then silence. That recording went viral online. Some claimed it was staged, others said it was real. But what caught people's attention most was the background sound, the faint rhythm of breathing that didn't match Ellen's own. The audio engineers who examined the file said something impossible. The breath was coming from inside the walls. After the investigation, the house was sealed again. But every year since then, at exactly the same date Ellen disappeared, November 12th, a light flickers in the top window for 7 nights straight. On the 8th night, the light goes out, and a single window pane cracks, even though no one is inside. No one dares to go near it anymore. Even the local sheriff refuses to patrol that road. The trees around the property have grown twisted, their branches curling inward as if reaching for the house. The mailbox still reads Crane Residence, though the paint has long faded away. Yet something keeps the place untouched. The grass never grows, but the snow around it never melts either. The wind seems to die when it passes the gate, leaving the whole area in perfect, unnatural stillness. Locals say that the silence isn't peaceful. It's hungry. It waits for anyone foolish enough to break it, and every few years it gets fed. 3 years after Ellen Ward's disappearance, a new voice entered the story. His name was Dr. Henry Calloway, a retired historian from Boston who'd spent his career studying unexplained architecture in America's Northeast. He claimed that houses like the Crane Residence weren't haunted by people, but by memories that refused to die. Dr. Calloway wrote in his field notes that the Silent House wasn't just old, it was misplaced. Its structure didn't match any known blueprints of the 1800s. Even the type of nails used in its beams weren't manufactured in the United States until decades later. It was as if the house didn't belong to any time at all. In the fall of 2020, he contacted the local authorities, asking permission to spend one night inside the house for research. His request was denied. But on November 12th, the same day Ellen had vanished, his car was found parked near the same gate she'd used. Inside was his journal, open to a single sentence. "The silence is not empty. It listens." That night, neighbors claimed they saw two lights moving inside the windows. Not one like before, two. The next morning, the lights were gone. Dr. Calloway was never found. The story might have ended there, but 1 year later, a YouTuber known as Matt Grayson, who specialized in abandoned places, uploaded a video titled 24 Hours in the Silent House. Real haunting caught on camera. The video lasted 38 minutes before it abruptly cut to black. It was removed within 24 hours for graphic content. But not before thousands of viewers saw what happened. The footage began like any other exploration vlog. Matt walked through the front yard, joking nervously as he pushed open the warped wooden door. The air inside looked thick, as if the camera lens fogged the moment he entered. Dust floated like ash. There were claw marks on the inside of the door, deep, desperate gouges running from top to bottom. First, nothing seemed wrong. He explored the rooms, whispering into his microphone about the legend of Silas Crane. Then he heard it, a faint creaking sound from upstairs. "Hello?" he said, trying to sound brave. The camera shook as he climbed the stairs. Each step groaned like it was breathing. He reached the top, turned into a hallway lined with faded portraits, and froze. Every painting's face had been scratched out. That's when the whisper started. It wasn't coming from behind him or ahead, it was all around. A single word, repeated over and over, distorted by static. "Stay." Matt's breathing grew heavy. "Who's there?" he yelled. Then, just like Ellen's recorder, came the same single knock. He spun toward the sound. His flashlight flickered. For a split second, the lens caught something standing in the doorway. A figure in a long dress, head tilted, face completely smooth, like wax. The feed glitched. When it returned, Matt was standing motionless in front of the camera, whispering, "It's not silent anymore." Then the video cut. Authorities later entered the house to investigate. They found his camera sitting at the base of the stairs, still recording. The last frame showed the hallway, and from the dark, something began to crawl into view. Slowly, unnaturally, its limbs bending the wrong way. Then the recording ended in static. Matt Grayson was declared missing. After his disappearance, the town finally sealed the entire property. But people who drive by say the sound of knocking can now be heard from inside the car, echoing faintly in the speakers, whether the radio is on or not. As for the house, it remains exactly the same. Untouched, cold, and waiting. In 2023, drone footage taken by paranormal researchers showed something disturbing. The words "let her speak" were burned into the roof, letters visible only under infrared light. But when they returned the next day, the roof had collapsed, and in the ashes they found a small wooden chair, perfectly intact. That chair now sits in the Vermont Historical Museum, behind thick glass. Visitors say if you stand too close, you can hear faint breathing inside it. Museum staff insist it's just old wood creaking. But they never leave that exhibit alone after sunset. Whatever happened inside the silent house didn't end with Silas Crane, or Ellen Ward, or Dr. Calloway, or even Matt Grayson. The silence spreads. Every object taken from that house seems to carry something invisible, something waiting to be noticed. And the strangest part? The coordinates of the house have vanished from all satellite maps. You can look up the property, but the road that leads there doesn't exist anymore. Locals say the forest reclaimed it, but there are others who believe something else entirely, that the house moved. Somewhere, another road ends in the same kind of fog, and another unlucky traveler will see a faint light flicker in a window that shouldn't exist. They'll hear a knock, then nothing, because once you enter the silent house, it listens, and it never forgets. If the silent house gave you chills, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and never miss a story that will haunt your mind. Like this video if you felt the fear, share it with someone brave enough to watch, and comment if you dare spend a night inside. Your clicks keep the silence alive.